Let's watch a little bit more of the video.
Okay. Yeah, you can add it.
So when a breakup happens, women grieve, but they heal. And men, they often spiral. The thing is that men don't just feel lonelier, they are lonelier. They're less likely to reach out for emotional support, less likely to open up to friends, and way more likely to suffer in silence. And that's why you see so many men jumping into relationships they know aren't good for them, because it's not just about love, it's about survival. And loneliness is brutal, and they'll do anything to escape it. If you're a man and your girlfriend is the only person you emotionally rely upon, that's a problem. If your entire support system disappears the moment your relationship ends, that's a problem. Women are not your therapists, and relationships are not replacements for friendships. And if you don't start investing in real, meaningful connections outside of your love life, you'll find yourself stuck in a cycle of isolation, bad decisions, and relationships that feel more lifeless than love. Men, do better for yourselves. Build support systems, build friendships, open up, have real conversations. Because waiting until you're alone to realize you're lonely, that's a pain no relationship can fix. Men are struggling more than ever now. There is a
She wrapped it up in a nutshell. Men,
Yeah.
men do better. You know what I mean? Do
Yeah,
better. Be more intentional. Do the work.
Okay, all right, but like you see, yo, you say
I
shit.
don't know, bro. I
Yo,
don't know about that.
Like, come on, bro.
She ended it off kind of wild, man. I don't know.
Because the thing is, that sounds very woman-like,
Yeah, 'cause
right?
I don't think any man is
like
even into his woman
men,
that much.
if it happens for a man, it happens organically.
Let me ask you a question, man. Let me ask you a question. Do you think a man and a woman getting into a relationship, a woman would prefer him not spending as much time with his friends?
For sure.
Absolutely.
That's where the trap is.
For sure.
That right there is where the trap is. Pleasing that woman, losing yourself within pleasing that woman is where your trap lies.
There's a fine line there, though.
Go ahead.
Because the fine line is like, all right, how your woman 9 times out of 10 is supposed to make you better, right? So her giving you like, maybe you shouldn't, or maybe I don't think she's gonna say don't hang with that person, but or maybe you shouldn't be doing that, right? Like you and your homeboys, let's go to the bar, let's drink. I'll drive home. I get a DW. You know, your woman, now you were single, you do that all the time.
Yeah, no question.
Your lady says, yeah, maybe not do that or whatever.
Idea.
That's not the best idea.
Where it should be, you know what? Maybe she could take an Uber.
Yeah, but if John is the one that always wants you to go to the bar and he puts you at risk to, not saying don't hang with John, but like how about not going to the bar, right? Not going to the bar, right? So now the way you guys connect is kind of shut off indirectly, right? But you know, you're not drinking so much, that makes you better, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, it makes you less social, but I guess it makes you.
You could still be social without drinking.
Well, then you're not there.
All
you're
right.
not going to the bar, then you're not there, and then you're not drinking. It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's like if you're not there, then you're not drinking.
Well, you could.
So
if
drinking.
If you and John are really, really friends, right, and you have a deep connection, y'all don't have to drink. Y'all could do something else. But
so maybe you could send her home and invite John to the crib then.
Yeah, you could do that also.
Right? But God forbid that happens.
But John doesn't have a vagina. So it's like
you got to set your boundaries. I think men have a hard time setting boundaries in the beginning of the relationships. And women, I feel like naturally do it. Women can pour into a relationship and just be all into it. And it's natural. When a man kind of does
it's easier for a woman,
strange. I guess so.
Like, because if a man if a man does something like that, he's overbearing and he's overbearing.
Mm-hmm.
If a woman does it, she's trying to kind of make you better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've witnessed that with my father, right? Mm-hmm. When he started, you know, my pops, he has a past and he dealt with a lot of riffraff. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the people that he, you know, in the past had a lot of riffraff going on. Mm-hmm. But those are quote unquote supposed to be his friends, right? You know, so then all of a sudden,
you know, you were 80s babe. You talking about riffraff?
Yeah. So when he gets with this new lady, mm-hmm. like, oh, maybe you shouldn't be dealing with the riffraff, right?
Yeah.
Which is a good thing to say, a good thing to do.
So does he have friends that are not riffraff?
He got a lot more riffraff friends than not.
He didn't do a good job picking friends.
Yeah. So
that's on him.
So now it's like
square friends.
Now his friend group, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I said. Like, I feel like he has a lot of associates, but his homies is like, I ain't, I'm moving away from that. You know what I mean? So I'm doing something different.
Yeah.
And those are people that actually we're talking about people that have friends or have relationships. We take it for granted how easy we've built relationships with the people that we have because we had them for so long and we have so many friends to kind of like sift through.
Do we take it for granted? We don't take it for granted.
No, we
don't
work
at it.
Right.
We work at it. We're at our kids' birthday party. We're 2 weekends in a row. We're at birthday parties with our kids.
No,
our kids' friends.
For sure.
We work at it. We show up and we show up to people's things and we're there for them and we talk to them. And even if we're not interested in what they're talking about in the group chat, we respond to it and we call them to check up on them individually. And we talk to our friends. We work on our friends. We fertilize and we water the soil that produces the friendship.
All right. What about the person? Now, from the beginning of it, you have to nurture it after, like, but it sprouted out of the ground,
Yeah.
You didn't have to work on it at that point. You understand what I'm saying? Especially as kids can, you know what I mean? And you build on it.
You did have to work on it because when you're out working on this kind of job, pouring yourself this, or this one is going to college and this one is doing this, and this one moves like to another borough. What's the common denominator and bring it back? And honestly, there wasn't social media, which I kind of wanted to get to. I feel like social media is something that's hurting friendships now because of the false presumption that seeing somebody's pictures and maybe liking the pictures and maybe a comment is kind of keeping up with a friend. Like a lot of people don't do that work of calling and seeing what's going on and checking on how their parents are doing and doing that work and how your kid is doing in school and what's going on. And, they don't have those conversations. They just kind of see it in pictures and double tap for the like, and they kind of think what's going on. And really, when they look back at everything, it's kind of hollow.
It depends on the person.
Right.
Some people feel like, all right, that's enough. Like we interact on social media. That's fine.
Until you're trying to have a birthday party or a barbecue and you kind of can't get anybody to show up.
It happens. But the point I was going to make was that what about that person? And we've been in, even as young kids, the people that have trouble making friends. People that had trouble, or the dudes that had trouble with women, things like that. Like
it's effort.
Yeah,
effort.
Yeah. I guess it's effort, but it's
effort.
But I honestly, like, you say effort, but I don't see.
Get out of your head.
No.
Play baseball.
That's what
play something.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't come easy. It wasn't difficult.
What do you mean it wasn't difficult?
Making friends wasn't difficult. It's not difficult.
But
it wasn't difficult for me. Let me just say for me personally.
Right.
Yeah. I played sports all my life.
Yeah.
Right. So build connections.
But that person just want to sit home on a computer or sit home and not do anything, and I'm not athletic, and it gets in their head, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. If you're sitting in the house all day, every day, what do you expect? Yeah, you could be around a certain group of people at school or at work or whatever, but when you leave those things, if you're not doing anything extracurricular, if you're a grown man and you don't have friends, what are you doing for yourself? Like, what groups are you active with? Like, are you going anywhere? Are you going to I don't know. I see old dudes at McDonald's kicking it in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like with the newspapers and all that. Even the old dudes are kicking. I see old dudes at the park just sitting there with the newspaper. People, you find community. Like, you find people. You'll find somebody. Like, I mean, it does get harder the older you get. I'm not going to say that because it gets weirder. But I really think it's easier for men to make friends.
I think it's possible for people to be out and be social and still be lonely, right?
Be out and be social and still be
like
lonely.
you say you see old dudes in McDonald's, right?
Yeah,
they might go to McDonald's and they kick it with some guys, but then they go home to a lonely ass house and nobody's there.
Yeah,
and they do feel lonely. See, and we just take for granted, like, oh, if you got somebody to speak to, or you saw somebody today, or you got a family member, like, nah, you're not lonely.
Well, that's who we should be worried about. That's who I envision is lonely. Maybe like a widower or like a widow that their spouse died, and maybe the grandkids are like older and they're busy. Your kids have families, and you're like, no one's kind of thinking about you. Maybe that person is lonely, but like a young person in their 20, 25, like a young guy, go to the gym. Like you could go, just go somewhere, be around people, spot somebody at the bank, go and do something, get around people, just figure it out. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
It's just easy for GB.
No, it's not. Well, listen,
you just gonna go. You can just go to the gym. Like, oh, you want this? Can I spot you? Like, you don't do no shit like that. Why are you saying some shit that you don't do? Yeah,
someone spotted me today. Someone, you could ask for a spot.
What, you were struggling or something like that? And they said they look like you need help.
I got them 2 plates up, nigga. Yeah, I asked him, like, he was waiting on the joint. I'm like, get these 2 plates up, big nigga.
He asked you.
No, I asked him. No, he was waiting for the bench.
And you said, "Can you spot me?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh man.
But that didn't ultimately like make y'all friends, right? Nah, so it's really not enough.
Nah, you real strong, homie. Can I be your friend? Can I be your friend, you man? I think it's effort. What are your final words on it? Got some stats here too.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah,
1 in 4 men in the U.S. report feeling lonely at least once a week. What kind of stat is that? Jerk off. 1 in 4 men. 1 in 4 men in the U.S. report feeling lonely at least once a week. What kind of that's the bullshit stat?
No. You got see. This is what I'm trying. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, like, men, they don't really have any type of avenues to really get deep, right? To really express themselves, to talk, to speak to anybody. They don't have deep connections with people. So that's where I feel like the loneliness, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, people could be out and be social with other people, but they are lonely in a sense because they don't really have no deep connections. And I feel like the fact that women are more vulnerable, a woman could see a woman that she don't know, and she see them like, oh, girl, I've been going through it. I just broke up with my boyfriend or whatever. They'll spill the shit like that.
No, but
right?
we got covered that. Like, even like, all right, the young dude at the job. You know what I mean? And he'll talk to, he'll talk to me at least a little bit, like, yo, wife be getting a little trouble or whatever. You know what I mean? And I'll impart a little wisdom on him and talk to him. But I mean, I don't consider him a friend unless he needed it, you know what I mean? But, I don't know. If you feel like a friend needs somebody, but you could talk to somebody, you could open up to somebody.
All right.
So a quiet moment.
That, and you know what will probably happen, or what could happen, is that I don't think he has trouble. He might not have trouble. He doesn't have no friends, right? Mm-hmm. But then he may view your relationship more of a mentor, friend, or whatever, this, that, and the third, right?
Yeah.
Depending on how it all went. And that may actually transform into a friendship.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
if I needed a friend, I would just reach out more and just small talk. And it's like, yo, I'm doing this thing on Saturday. Yo, pull up if you ain't doing nothing. Then all of a sudden your friend shows up, and then all of a sudden, like, you got a friend now. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
this next thing. And then it's like, all right, now we got a friend. Like, it's like just being a friend.
Okay.
It's like,
the thing is, most people are not going to be that vulnerable with other men, right? We're like,
that's a misconception too, or we're outliers too, right?
So you telling me all your deep, darkest shit you tell all your friends?
Nah, come on now. Deep dark stays close to the vest now. Come on now. But I don't need to go out. But if you need to vent about something, or you need to talk about something,
is it everybody, or is there select? Is there select?
I think there's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, there's certain friends you might get deeper with than others.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but there are some people that don't have that at all. Especially like time is a very big factor on how serious a relationship or a friendship is with a person.
Okay.
That's one of the main factors, right? How much time we've been around the person. So with that, we might feel like, yeah, I could speak to this person about this, that, and the third.
That's what I'm saying.
Imagine meeting a new friend. You're not gonna dump on that person early.
No, if you're not fair to
most
him.
Most men don't do that.
Nah, but you could, give advice or how do you think, I don't know. It doesn't have to be weird, but it doesn't have to be. You just be cool. I think it's real easy with dudes, especially dudes that like sports. It's super easy.
But that's not real.
Something in common.
I don't think that's real, bro.
What's not real?
That's not like a real like deep connection.
It'll get there. Like you said, time, right?
Yeah.
Once you put enough time in with somebody, you could consider that person a friend. Once you've seen this person in different situations, you've seen them interact in certain things, and loneliness is not just. We're only talking about the men aspect of it. I'm not a man that has women friends, but people have women friends too.
Yeah.
I don't really subscribe to that much, but